12 noon, so I thought we would go ahead and roll through this. Let me start by introducing myself. I'm Michael Owings. I'm with Owings Brothers Contracting. We've been in business for about 30 years. In the last couple of years, we've started specializing a little bit more in in-law suites, expanded families moving together. So I'm really enjoying this opportunity to talk to people about it. We've done quite a few of them now. Over the past 10 years, I'd say we probably have done somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 40 or 50 related projects between ramps and combined families and things like that. So what I want to start with is there's a lot of cultures and societies that have always take and combined their family resources. I mean, we're a little late coming to the game, and I think what we're seeing now with the baby boomers is we have a healthy generation. We have a generation that has meds, doctors, we're living longer. So I think what we're looking at now is people don't need to have the big 4,000 square foot house or 3,000 square foot house. They like to travel more, combine their resources. And I think with the economy, we're going to touch on that a little bit. That has a lot to do with it as well. So we've seen a huge, in the last 4 years, a huge uptick in this type of activity. So hopefully I'm going to kind of do an overview, but if you have any questions, you could ask me at the end. I'll be more glad to share it with you. Okay? The first thing you got to identify is who's the person that has the need, or what family has the need. Okay? Because in today's world, we're seeing the younger family has as much of a need as the parents that would be possibly merging in with the family. So it's no longer a one-sided relationship. It's not all about, hey, my parents need to move in, I got to find a room. It's actually becoming more about, hey, we could use the help. We're running around with our heads cut off. We have a lot of kid activities. So we're starting to see the trend be kind of more down the middle. It's not only the parents, but the kids are embracing this opportunity as well. I'd mentioned about the last 4 years. Well, let's go back to 2007. Back in 2007, let's go back to maybe 2000. The latest and greatest thing was going to be the over 55 housing. That was going to be the hottest thing going. And it did. It took off. There's a ton of them out there. But what happened later, over like the last 4 years, people have lost significant value in their homes. So what happened is they no longer had the assets to go into these luxury over 55 communities because some people have lost up to 30% of their value. So we're also seeing that this economic decline has contributed a lot to combining resources. I think we all know that our 401s and our retirement plans are not what they used to be. They are coming back. That's the good news. Healthcare expenses, do not ask me about healthcare. I have no clue to where that's going and where that's going to end up, but I think we all know that it is expensive. It is a difficult, it's a burden on every family, no matter who you are. But especially when you look at folks that are over 62, 65, if they don't have supplemental insurance and they're just living off of their Medicare and stuff like that, it becomes a line item expense for a family. You know, I mean, when we look at elderly parents that don't have supplemental income, I mean, we're looking at numbers of like $20,000, $30,000 in prescription medications and things like that. That's a big expense. So that's driving some of this as well. We all know cost of living, gas is kind of stabilized, but we never know when that's going to spike up. So all these combined, when you take all these pressures, and that's what I call them, pressures, when you take all these pressures and you put it on these families, what you're seeing is it makes more sense to consolidate your resources. And I think that's the value of two families moving together. The key here is it's a family unit. And we're going to finish this with you have to understand your family dynamics. That's an important aspect of ever combining two families. You don't necessarily have to jump in all the way. What we've discovered is there's an opportunity to maybe put your toe in the water. Don't jump in the deep end. So maybe what you do is you look at walking into this relationship a little bit more on a slower kind of pace. No big additions. Don't jump in with, let's tear that thing down and start over again. So what we're seeing is there's a lot of temporary solutions, and then families can kind of figure out where they're going from there.